Hi everyone, this is the weather hazard briefing from the National Weather Service office here in Pocatello, Idaho for Thursday, May 18th, 2023. We still will have a few isolated showers and thunderstorms out there as we go through the day today, but we do have something new to talk about. We've got some wildfire smoke that'll be arriving as we go throughout the day from some of those wildfires up in Alberta, making its way down to us. So that pretty much covers the key points. That, and of course, our flooding continues as our temperatures continue to warm up and we melt off more of that snow that's still left up in the higher elevations of the mountains. So those are kind of the three main things we're going to talk about. And of course, we'll look at some of our hydrographs later on in the presentation too. So here's a look at satellite this morning. Things have been fairly quiet, but we've still kept a few lingering showers, mainly through parts of the southeastern highlands overnight and now into early Thursday morning. So we will still see a few showers and some isolated thunderstorms. More of those will be confined to parts of the central mountains and the southeastern highlands, though. Our weather risk outlook grid, again, looking very similar to what it's looked like the past couple of mornings. Do think we will see a little bit more dry time for more of us, especially through part of the Snake Plain, Magic Valley, and Southern Hills, as we kind of get into more so Friday and Saturday as some weak, messy ridging tries to build in over the area and dry us out a little bit at least. And any showers or thunderstorms over the next couple days will be a bit more isolated in nature, so not nearly as widespread as what we'd seen a couple afternoons so far this week. And of course, snow melts and flooding still a concern across parts of eastern Idaho. So we go through the next several days through the weekend and into early next week, thanks to the warm-up we've got coming our way over the next few days here. So just want to quick show you a look at the national forecast chart for today. Notice that cold front that's kind of draped across parts of western Montana, just kind of skirting northeastern Idaho here. That bringing in some light winds from the north is going to be transporting that wildfire smoke from up in Alberta, Canada, down through Montana and into parts of eastern Idaho. In fact, they've already seen some pretty impressive impacts through parts of northwestern Montana and even up into parts of the Panhandle. Not expecting it to be quite as drastic here, but will still be noticeable as we go through the day. So here's actually one model outlook at what that smoke will look like. Of course, the darker colors once you get more into the oranges and reds, showing some of that thicker smoke making its way down into eastern Idaho as we go throughout the day today. Again, at this point, not expecting any major impacts as far as any air quality concerns down this way, since we just kind of get a bit of a glancing blow from that cold front. But you'll probably notice a bit of a haze or some of that smoke in the sky as we kind of go through, especially into the second half of today into this evening. Could make for some pretty sunset pictures, and you might smell a little bit of that smoke too. But just a heads up, if you notice that, that is what it is. And again, it's coming from those wildfires up in Alberta, Canada. They've got quite a few active fires at this point. High temperatures today, most of us in the 70s once again. A lot of mid and upper 70s. Winds as we go throughout the day today, very similar to the last couple days. Outside of any of those isolated storms, winds only gusting up to about 15, 20 miles per hour. So not too much of an impact there. We do still have a couple of those isolated showers around this morning. We'll see those continue. Again, mainly confined to parts of the southeastern highlands as we start the day. But then we'll start to see some activity developing in the central mountains as we get into this afternoon. With that, again, these are fairly isolated in nature. Some gusty winds up to about 30, maybe 40 mile per hour gusts with a couple of these storms, but not quite as strong as some of the storms we've seen over the last few days. And again, fairly isolated in nature, so you may see shower or storm in the distance, but most of us will stay dry as we go throughout the day today. And then things will start to calm down after sunset. High temperatures tomorrow. Again, we're going to warm up a couple more degrees with more of us in the upper 70s to low and even some mid 80s down into parts of the Magic Valley. That warming trend continues as we get into the weekend. Again, that weak ridge trying to build in over the area will bring us some of our warmer temperatures, pushing more of us into the low and mid 80s on both Saturday and Sunday afternoon. A couple areas back into the upper 80s, especially the farther west you go, out towards the Twin Falls area. So it'll be plenty warm as we go through this weekend, that's for sure. Again, contributing to more of that snow melt, and we'll continue to see some of those river levels rise across the area. A little bit of a cool down as we get into early next week, just vary a little bit though. So highs will go from the mid and even some upper 80s on Saturday and Sunday to more so low 80s as we get into Monday. Some of us dipping back down into the upper 70s. So let's take a look at some of our hydrographs across the area of the Blackfoot River at the Blackfoot Reservoir near Henry. That it continues to slowly drop off a little bit, still in the minor flood stage though. The Bear River at the Idaho-Wyoming border continues to hold fairly steady in the minor flood stage. That's at about 8.2 feet right now, expected to rise just a little bit more as we go through the next several days and into the weekend. But some of the areas we've seen a bit more of an increase over the last few days and are expected to see more of an increase into the weekend. The Big Wood River at Hailey, currently still in the minor flood stage, but just brushing right up against moderate flood stage, and expected to, once it kind of finishes its diurnal cycle tonight and dips slightly tomorrow, expected to make a fairly solid jump into the rest of the moderate flood stage and stay there through the weekend. Again, with these much warmer temperatures headed our way, we'll continue to do more of that snow melt from the upper levels up in the mountains and continue to see some of the rises on our rivers, especially up in the Sun Valley, Hailey, and Ketchum area. Speaking of the Warm Springs Creek near Ketchum, that, again, just kind of hanging out right almost at the minor flood stage. It's at action stage or action level right now. So, again, we've got a close eye on this one. We've got some flood warnings and watches in effect for that area. Again, as some of these creeks are just right at about bank full right now. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on those as we go through the weekend. Another one to talk about, the Henry's Fork near Rexburg, is in the minor flood stage and expected to stay there as we go through the next several days and through the weekend. So just a heads up on that one. So in summary, we've got some isolated showers and storms out there today, mainly confined to parts of the southeastern highlands and the central mountains. Temperatures continue to warm up, so continue with our flooding. And if you notice some of that smoke, just remember that's from the wildfires up in Canada. And again, no major impacts from that, but you may smell a little bit of that smoke as the day goes on and probably notice a bit more of a haze in the sky. So just a heads up on that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the forecast, you can always reach us via telephone or send us an email. Of course, you can always connect with us on social media too. Have a great day.